What's up guys, Untitled Studios here, and today we're doing a video on an interesting little box of goodies that I got from a local vacuum shop not too long ago. Now, it's not my local vacuum shop, because my local vacuum shop is closed, and that's very sad. But there's one that is like an hour away from me, and they had a good amount of stuff and a lot of old vacuums, so I asked, hey, do you have any Fantoms or Fantom parts? Usually the answer is always no, because duh, but I thought I'd ask, and this is what I was presented with. And I was already there anyways to buy a SIBO 1.25" adapter so I could use standard attachments with my SIBO, and so I did end up getting that. I got the plastic one. I decided to get the plastic one instead of the metal one because I don't want the metal one to scratch the hose on my SIBO. So I got this, and I'm actually glad I did because there's an interesting little tidbit about it that I'll mention in a sec. Actually, I'll just mention it right now. So obviously, this is a bunch of Fantom parts, and we'll get to that in a sec. But if we actually take my Fantom and pull the hose off, one thing I noticed is that this 1.25" adapter, the side with the little bevel, actually fits in the wand of the Fantom. I can push it in a little bit further, and then it goes in a little bit further. So I'll try to do that right now. And just kind of push it on, and you can see it's on pretty sturdily now. Now, the little suction relief holes right there are still unplugged, so you will bleed some suction out of there. But this actually fits, which means that if you want to use a plastic, specifically the plastic that is indented like this on your SIBO, and then attach 1.25" attachments to your SIBO, you can do that. See? Look at that. So now, oh, okay. Well, it can fall off, but I can assure you that if you put this on here all the way, it will in fact stay. I think if I put this on a tripod and show you, I think I'll be able to get that point across fairly well. Sorry about that. This is kind of a quick video. I'm in the middle of doing a bunch of housework right now, so I'm trying to get this done quick. So if I take this, again, our little 1.25" adapter, and I actually twist it on here. See, now it's on pretty firmly. Now if you wiggle it, it'll still come out. Again, this fits better on the hose, and I'll demonstrate that in a sec, but it does fit on the wand. And if you get it in there just right, it will in fact stay. And then now if we want to use that, we can. Or if we want to attach a better floor tool to it or use a different attachment, we can do that. So that's really cool. Now it works better on the hose. So if I take the wand off, set the wand aside, and now I take this adapter and just kind of twist it in to the rubber cuff on the hose. This is a little bit tricky because the hose is the slightest bit narrower. Once you get it on there, you can actually twist it on there a good amount, and it does stretch this part out, but it's firmly in there now, like it's not going anywhere. So now I can actively use this with any 1.25" attachment that I want, and it works. It works pretty well. Or if I want to use a different upholstery tool, look at that. Now I have a proper upholstery tool. And yes, it does work. If I turn this on, we can see. So that does work. And another fun fact is that when you put this adapter on and it stretches out the collar a little bit, it makes the proper attachments actually fit on a lot easier. Because now the collar is stretched out a little bit, so now the proper attachments fit on much easier than they normally do. So now if I want to use the Fantom pet hair tool, it pops on just fine. And now if I want to use that, I can. So that's really cool. And so if you have a Fantom and you want to use standard attachments with your Fantom, you can get one of these plastic SIBO 1.25" adapters, and it has to be the plastic variant. It can't be the metal because the metal is shaped a bit differently. So if you get one of these plastic ones, and this was the last one that the shop had, all the other ones that they had were metal because they said, I don't know if this is every shop, but my shop said that SIBO isn't making the plastic ones anymore, which is unfortunate. But if you can get one of these, whether it's genuine SIBO or aftermarket, you can get one that's shaped exactly like this, then you can use it to put on the hose of your favorite Fantom and then use whatever 1.25" attachments you want. So that's very nice. And it's actually made me use my Fantom a lot more as of late because now I can use good attachments with it. Now, one thing that I'm sure some people will ask is, because the Fantom is known to not have a very good power, very good suction, so one thing that I'd like to try is to see if this actually spins up a turbo brush, because as many people know, Fantom made a turbo brush back in the day for the original Fantom, and it was discontinued because it did not work very well. And that was the original Fantom, or the Thunder, which the Thunder has better suction than the Fury anyways. So, and by the way, this dusting brush I did also get from this lot of parts, not the pet hair tool that I already had. So, put that on there. So, let's see if we attach a turbo brush here. This is one from a Hoover wind tunnel, as you can tell by the logo. Since this is probably not too far off as far as the timeline between when this Fantom would have been at least latter half in stores. So let's see how this does. So that's very surprising. This thing actually spins up the turbo brush really well, which I would have never expected because the suction on this thing is very bad. But the airflow on it is still surprisingly pretty good. Even though it is a cyclonic system, normally cyclonic systems don't have the best airflow because of how inefficient the air path is, it still did a great job, and it still managed to spin this up just fine. It was only until I really heaved on it and put a lot of pressure on it on my thick carpet that it finally started to stop. So that's pretty interesting, and I would have never thought that that would have worked. But it does. And I did try it with the Wesselwerk turbo brush, the one that came with the early Dyson DC07s, the gray one that I have, and that had the exact same results. That one worked very well as well. But I do feel like that this Hoover one is actually a better turbo brush. Not in terms of build quality, but in terms of ability for it to work. So yeah, that's an interesting little tidbit that I found. Now we can get over to all of the other things that I found at said shop. So I'll put the wand back in, put this back together, and show off all the other goodies I got. Now I basically got this entire box of stuff along with the SIBO adapter for about $40, which was an excellent deal. I got some sub-micron filters for my ClearTrack. This is the only part for the ClearTrack or CMS or Workhorse that they had. And then, now, this brush roller I didn't get from the shop. This is actually the old brush roller that was in my Fury. One of the brush rolls I got is actually in my Fury right now. So, one of these, I should say. So here, we have a new old stock Fury brush roller. It's in beautiful shape. No issues with that. It's pretty much the only Fantom brush roller I have where the end caps aren't warped. So, and obviously the bearings are perfect. It spins perfectly. It is a little bit dusty because I did pop this in my Fury to try it and make sure it works. It works beautifully. This thing, with this new brush roller in my Fury, got so much crap out of my carpet. It was insane. So I still don't think, even with the new brush roller, that it would do as well as the ClearTrack. but it was pretty close. So then here is a brush roller for, I believe this is based on the geared belt. I would guess this is either from a Lightning or a Cyclone XT. I'm not sure, but it's from one of those machines. I could probably, one of these days, I'll probably grab my Cyclone XT and put this in here and see if this fits with that. And my Lightning is at my dad's house, so I need to go grab that. And then over here, I actually did try to put this in because this is another NOS brush roller, but this is an aftermarket NOS brush roller with plastic end caps. Now at first I thought, oh, this is a great idea because then I don't have to worry about the metal warping. This might actually function better in the Fantom with the plastic housing. The problem is that this brush roller is really lightweight compared to the NOS, which has a good amount of weight to it. This thing is a very good quality brush roller. But this one, the wood part is fine. This part is built fine, but the plastic end caps means it doesn't weigh a whole lot. And I understand now why Fantom put metal end caps in the brush roller, because the way that the front of the vacuum is designed, with the way that the belt rides on the so the belt attaches right here, the motor spindle is right here, and the belt has to stretch a good amount of length down to the edge of the brush roller, and the belt is actually going down, which means that this motor shaft is actually pulling up on the belt and on this edge of the brush roller as a result. So one thing that I've noticed, and we can see I do have the other brush roller in here. It's in excellent shape. I don't know if this will show up on camera, but it's in excellent shape. So this one wasn't quite NOS, but it was pretty close to it, and this brush roller does wonders in this Fantom. This Fantom works very, very well now at cleaning. So I've seen that, like, I used this to clean the other day, and I got so much fine dust out of my carpets that it was insane. Now, it still doesn't do quite as well as the ClearTrack or as well as the brand new Dysons like the UP13 that I've been using, but it still does pretty well. But I've noticed that, so thankfully my Fury doesn't have any issues with the housing. My orange one does, but this one doesn't. So the metal end caps are actually kind of necessary to hold the brush roller in place and kind of have some sort of leverage on that belt. Whereas with these plastic end caps, every time I would try to stretch the belt onto the motor spindle, because the way it works on Fantom, you have to put the brush roller in first, put the belt on it, and then push the belt onto the motor spindle. I found that there was no way to keep this brush roller in place. This side would keep popping up out of the housing, and you know, even if I was holding it while putting the belt on, there'd be no way for me to let go of it in order to put the hood on without this popping back up. So unfortunately, this brush roller, while it is in great condition, and this is certainly a good collectible because I've never seen an aftermarket Fantom brush roller until now. So this is not very usable because it just doesn't fit in, and it just doesn't really want to stay in the housing, so it just won't install. So that's a bit unfortunate, but it still is cool to have. But that's why this isn't in here. And because obviously the genuine brush rollers will do better anyways. So that's that. And in addition to brush rollers, I just realized this might have been out of frame a little bit. Sorry. And you can see the little bit of carpet ripped up. So in addition to these brush rollers, I also got a couple random little components that were just kind of randomly there. So I got this, which appears to be a seal of some kind. So I'm trying to see what this is. It's item number, oh yeah, it says UMC cap and seal assembly. So I assume this has to do with some part of the housing. I don't want to open this up, but there's some sort of part in here. So I just realized there's a date code on this. It says April 6th, 2000. Wow. Yeah, April 6th, 2000. So then here, this part needs no introduction. It's a bit dusty, but this is a top cover and switch assembly for a Fantom Thunder. Unfortunately, this little bit of plastic right here is bent. But other than that, this part is in good shape. So I'll definitely be holding on to this in case a Thunder or domestic I get in the future needs that part. Then here is a bin seal Yeah, it says right here, Fantom seal. And then finally, here's some headlight cover lenses for the Cyclone XT. It's a pack of 2. So that's that as far as all of these Fantom parts. Of course, this whole box is really dusty from it sitting for a very long time, but I did dust off all these brush rollers and everything. That's why the brush rollers look fine. And then, of course, this is one of my old... This brush roller I actually ordered on eBay, but the bearings were shot in it. And even after changing the bearings, this brush roller isn't the best. You can see it's not spinning the freest. So it does still run when it's in a machine, but I feel like it's probably putting extra stress on the belt. So this might be a brush roller. If I ever sell a Fantom, this might be the brush roller I put in it. Obviously, I mean, just being honest, I'll keep all the nice brush rollers for myself. Not like you wouldn't do the same thing. So this brush roller, this aftermarket one, has a date code on it, or some sort of code. It says 0228002. Interesting. So 0228 implies February 28th, but I'm not sure if that's accurate. And then 02, I don't know if that means that's supposed to mean 2002, but just without the 2. Maybe that's supposed to mean February 28th, 2002. I don't know. I do not know. So, but that's still rather interesting. So, sure. Is this the most interesting thing in the world? Maybe not for most people, but for Fantom collectors like myself, I think this is rather fascinating. So, that just popped off. Where did that go? Here it went. I did pull apart this Cyclone XT brush roller and clean it, but I didn't need to do anything to the bearings. Again, I assume this is Cyclone XT. It might be Lightning, but I don't know. It's one of the two, obviously. But obviously these other two are Fury because this other one is much longer, so I assume it's Cyclone XT. But again, I'll check one of these days. Oh, dust, making me sneeze. So, with that in mind, since I do have one of the new brush rollers in this Fury, I guess I might as well run this, because I have been using this Fury with the new brush roller in it. So, I guess I'll show that running real quick. Not like it wouldn't be just like any other vacuum running with a new roller in it, but it is what it is. So, we'll do that. Wow, and you can see just from this small little area what this got. See that big ball of fluff right there? So this new brush roller certainly does the trick. Of course, I feel like Fantoms kind of stretch out the belts a little bit because this is a new belt that I replaced. It's already starting to feel a little bit loose, but I have been using this a good amount. So yeah, that's that. And yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed me showing this little box of Fantom parts that I got. And you can see how much better my Fury is running with that new brush roller. This isn't the 10 amp Fury that I fixed. This is the 12 amp Fury that I got, that my fiance bought for me as a Christmas present a year and a half ago. You can tell it's that one because it still has the busted back cord clip. That's fine. It's the only Fantom I have right now that has a busted cord clip. Although I did just buy another Cyclone XT off of Vacuums and Carpet Cleaner Guy for a good price. So we'll see how that goes. and you'll see that, of course, on the channel probably on Tuesday, since that's when it said it's supposed to get here, but we'll see. So anyways, this is Untitled Studios signing out, showing off my Fantom parts, as well as my lovely Zeebo 1¼ adapter, which I still have yet to use on my actual Zeebo. So, I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you all have a good one. Peace!